So today's video, it's brought to you by Incogni, but more on that in a minute. First, we got to get all the hay equipment out. We got to start getting it ready. Well, so it's time to change out the grease tube. You guys want something? Well, the ducks came over to me. That's the obvious sign that they're ready to be fed or they're out of food. Take care of them first. All right, let's go. There you go. There you go. Oh yeah, you guys are completely out of food. So on the front of this baler PTO shaft, this is actually like a double U-joint. There's two U-joints in here. They actually call it, I think, a CV joint is what the technical name is for it. So there's a few places to grease on this, if you can find them. It's just easier to take the whole PTO shaft off the machine, I think, sometimes to grease this. Yeah, I think there's a total of 4 grease fittings on this CV joint. Okay. All right, I got the round baler all greased up. I'm still have to come back and oil the chains, but there's a few things I check on this. And first thing is going to be the hydraulic pressure. It's set at 125 pounds. And the reason it's set that way is because it's actually an air over oil system, and you pressurize it with an air compressor. And my air compressor is a max of 125 pounds. So that's why it's set there. That's the highest I can get it to go. And that sets your bale density. So how tight the bale is, how heavy the bale is. So I think my bales are dense enough and they're heavy enough. So I don't think I really need to go higher anyway. So in here is the hydraulic reservoir, and it's got this little sight glass on it. And I'm getting close to being low on oil. I'm still in the operating range, but the rest of that is actually filled with air. And there's actually a little, like a valve you'd have on your tire up there for you to pressurize the top of the cylinder, and then that air pressure pushes the hydraulic fluid into those cylinders, which are the ones that press up against the bale and make it dense. So I may have to add oil maybe later this year, but it seems to be fine right now. And that bale density, I don't think a lot of people realize how important that is when you buy hay. Because if you go buy a 4x5 round bale like I make, there's a big difference between one that's probably on a 100-pound setting and one that's on a 150-pound setting. It could be probably 200-300 pounds of difference in that bale. And you should really be buying hay by the pound. You know, so a lot of people will sell hay by the size, right? The 4x5 bale, and then they'll probably make them less dense. That way they're making more profit because they'll make more bales. So you kind of got to pay attention, because that bale density makes a big difference on the true amount of hay you're getting. So if you do buy round bales, if you can stick your hand like on the inside and stick your hand into the bale, that's a low density bale. If you can only get your fingers in like an inch or two, that's a higher density bale. That'll give you a good idea of whether you're actually getting a heavy bale or a light bale. And we'll check our twine here, and hopefully you can tell it's fairly empty. There's probably only like that much twine, like see, like left inside of there. So that won't probably last me through a baling. I need to get at least a few more spools of twine. Well, you see a little bit of wear on the side of the belts where it's stringing off just a little bit. That's not a big deal. And then looking at all where they're laced together, everything still seems to be in good shape. So down here at the pickup, might be hard to tell, there's one or two missing right here. You can see it skip every once in a while. And then there's another one missing right over here. So I think I was aware there was a few broken pickup teeth on here last year. I just never ended up ordering any, so I better get on that. So like I said earlier, today's video is sponsored by Incogni. Let me share with you on how they're helping me and Rebecca. So I personally, I'm sick of all of the scammers always calling me on the phone. They have all of my personal information, and they try to convince me that they're with a company that I've got an account with. They're trying to trick me to give them like my password, or trying to give them a credit card number. Seems like I get these calls weekly. But earlier this year, Rebecca was a victim of identity theft. So somebody got on Verizon, bought a brand new iPhone 16, and they charged it to Rebecca. And we got this bill in the mail for almost $1,500 for an iPhone that we didn't purchase. So after this whole ordeal, I decided I want to get all our information off of the internet, and that's where Incogni comes in. They go out to all these data brokers that collect all of our information, and they act in our behalf, and they request for all our information to be taken down. And then after that information is taken down, they constantly search for our information on the internet, and they keep requesting it to be taken down. And for us to go do it personally, it would take hours and hours of searching to try to find all these data brokers and to try to go through the request forms. And Incogni makes it incredibly simple. They do all the work for you and save you a bunch of time. It'd be almost impossible for you to do it on your own. And now Incogni has custom data removal. So if you find your information out on the web and somebody is posting it somewhere that's not a data broker, you can send that link to Incogni, and they will go through the process of requesting for that information to be taken down. So if you guys want to rid the internet of all your personal information, take control with Incogni. And if you use coupon code CountryViewAcres, it'll get you 60% off the annual plan. I'll leave a link in the description below. So a lot of round bales, they have what they call a bale kicker. It's this other arm that comes down, and when the bale rolls out, that kicker kicks the bale and makes it roll away from the baler. If you watch Farmer Tyler Ranch, you'll see his baler has that. Mine doesn't. All it has is like these little unloading ramps. So when the bale comes out of the baler, it's supposed to hit these ramps, roll down them, and it's supposed to roll far enough away to close the gate. But the problem with mine is that this one here has been bent up since I bought it. It may not show up real well on camera, but it's definitely like this whole corner is bent down, and you can see like how this is straight, and you can see this one's pulled way down. Big difference in where they position. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to take that off, see if I can bend it back to be a little closer to the way it's supposed to be. So right here, there's a valve that you can shut, and what it does is it closes off the hydraulic lines that go to the cylinder right here that hold up the gate, and that's supposed to trap the hydraulic fluid in there, and then you can't make the gate go up and down. So it's supposed to basically make it safe for you to work under here. What the heck? Whole side's broken off. That's why it's probably hanging that way. The weld is all broken right there. This isn't going to be a quick fix. Oh, it's all bent. Bent down here too. You can tell this corner, it's bent down, that's why it wouldn't come off. And you can see where this weld is broken and this is bent down. Of course, the other side's just completely gone. So I know you guys won't see it in the camera, but it is misting right now. There's actually a chance of rain today, and there's a greater chance of rain tomorrow. But after that, I think they're calling for like 5 days that's gonna be hot, sunny, no rain. So I'm hoping to bale, or at least start cutting hay 2 days from now. So it's a good thing that I probably started getting the equipment ready a few days early, because I thought maybe I'd get it all ready today, but I think this is gonna slow me down. Looks like it's bent where this hole is, like straight across this way. So clamp it on the edge of the table, lined up with that. See if we can bend it back. Looks like the hammer ain't gonna work, so I'm gonna get out the torch. I'm sure if I get that red hot, I can probably just bend it back straight with a pair of channel locks. There goes the paint job. Well, I gave it a good try to bend it back, but I think the big problem is that it's really kind of kinked right in here where it's split, and I can't get that flattened back out. I think I'm gonna have to take off this bracket, just go ahead and cut it off, try to straighten this out, and then I can weld both brackets on at the same time, and then I can pretty much guarantee that they're gonna be parallel with each other, or at least lined up. So a little more work than I wanted to do, but needs to be done, I guess. That one went in my ear. Oh man, that's gotta be pretty close right there. All right, I've got the piece welded back together. I think it's fairly straight. It's going to take a few more coats of paint, so I don't think I'm going to get that put on today. So I'll probably have to put it on tomorrow evening. So I think I'm done with the baler for now. We'll take it back, and then I'm going to bring the hay mower up here. We'll go through it. Well, here she is, the old Heston PT10. We'll go ahead, we'll get this greased up, we'll get it hooked up to the tractor, and then we'll spin this, make sure it runs okay. Well, the sun has finally came out today, so that's good. Hopefully we won't get rained on. So while I'm checking this over, I'm looking for broken teeth. Of course, that's an ordeal to replace those. You basically have to disassemble that whole reel to replace teeth. So basically just need a count of how many I need to purchase. And then as I go through here on the sickle bar, I'm gonna look at these teeth. I'm gonna look and make sure that none of those sickles are broken, or the guards that go underneath them. So I'm gonna make sure that the chain doesn't have too much slack in it. We'll check the air pressure in the tires. It says it should be 28 pounds. So I'm also gonna look at this drive belt. This is a special 4-rib belt. This is one belt, not four. This is one piece, this belt. Just wanna make sure it's not frayed, ripped, and just want to make sure it's got the proper tension on it, it's not loose. So right now the biggest thing that needs to be replaced is there's several broken teeth here on the reel, and I'll need to get a count on that and see if I can get some ordered, and that definitely is going to be an ordeal trying to replace those. Now here on the back we made our little windrow shields down here, and I've got it all the way narrowed right now, so I want to go ahead and I want to widen this back out so it's full width. I only want to make that tight windrow when we're doing the silage or the haylage bales. That way it's the right width where I can just go right over it with the baler and bale it up, because I don't want to rake the silage, it's too wet and heavy. But for hay I want it spread out as wide as possible so that it can dry. Well, it looks like everything on the hay mower is fine except for a few broken teeth on the reel. So I think this is ready to go, and now we can move on to something else. So now I'm going to run out. I'm going to do the chores real quick, and then I got another job to do after that. What are you doing in here? You ready to go for a ride? Nope. Didn't think so. Alright, to make feeding the sheep easier, I've been locking them out till after I got the food bowls filled. Of course, every day these are filled full of water from all the rain. See if you can figure it out. There you go. Come on, piggies. There you go. So right here's our new heifers and steers. This boy right here, he's a steer. And then that one's a steer. And the rest of these are heifers. So I talked about this on the live stream we did over the weekend. I thought that we had 2 heifers and 3 steers. And I couldn't see them real well when they ran into the trailer because they're dark. The trailers are all dark. I thought there was just 1 heifer in the first batch that went in the back of the trailer. Turned out there was 2. So we have 3 heifers and 2 steers. So I had it incorrect the other day. So we may be buying another steer because we always do sell 3 steers every year. And I was thinking about buying 3 heifers anyway. So I don't think that's bad. I think that kind of gets us up to about where we want to be anyway for our small herd. So over here we got a little bit of a problem. Water trough's overflowing. Looks like everything's leaking at the hoses. So I'm gonna guess that somebody's been messing with this. What did they do to this thing? It's leaking up here. I don't know why. All right, I think I got that fixed. I better run back and I'll check the other water trough real quick too. Make sure none of them are leaking. How are you, sweetheart? You doing good? These water troughs in here are perfectly fine. So right here is how we get back to the hay fields, and all of these trees have grown out into where we actually drive, because normally we have tires right about in here, and you can see it's completely blocked by tree limbs. So I'm going to cut all these small trees down that are right along the edge, and then I'm going to cut some of the bigger tree limbs off at least 10 foot high so I can drive through here without hitting all those trees. So a pole saw actually looks pretty good for reaching in places, and cutting stuff down when you got like bushes and stuff like that actually works fairly good. We got a bunch of vines, I think, connecting everything. Definitely making a difference. Well, that took like 15-20 minutes or so, and that made a huge difference. I can drive through here now with all that big hay equipment and not hit it on all the limbs. So now I think I'll head back and I'll grab the tractor, I'll get the grapple put on it, and then I'll come through here and see if I can get all of these limbs picked up and hauled off, and then I think we're pretty ready for when we can cut hay here in a couple days. Oh my goodness. That's actually the second time I've had this happen. Oh man. So what I did is I forgot to latch the quick attach on here, and I'm surprised it hasn't fallen off before this. So I've got an excuse for why that happened. I went to hook up the grapple and the hydraulic lines would not hook together. It was all pressured up. I had to break the fittings apart to relieve the pressure and then get it to finally hook up. I was covered in oil afterwards, so I went back to the house to wash up, and I forgot to latch those in that process because it was just so frustrating trying to get the hydraulic lines hooked up. So now I'm gonna see if I can get the tractor. It's kind of, the problem is this is a different position than the tractor. So I'm gonna try to see if I can reach down in there and hook the quick attach back up, but about have to get perfectly straight with it. Of course, I only got so much hose to work with here. Right there. Maybe. Oh, I got one and not the other. That's the problem. Oh, I think I got it. Yep. Well, I think I'm in. There's one. Oh. There we go. Well, I think I got most of it. So now we look across the top of the pond dam here. You can see it just looks so much better. We got a nice wide road to drive down. I may still want to come back with like a brush hog on the tractor and go right down the side just to knock down some of the weeds, but it'll be good enough to cut hay this time. So out here in the hayfield, it has definitely fully gone to seed, I'd say. Oh my, this one is this one's taller than my head. That's crazy. I've never probably had it get this far, this mature. Because now, when you look across it, all these seed heads and even the stalks of the seed heads, you're starting to see that yellow tinge, right? And that's when it's like the seed is fully mature about. So that also means that the feed quality is going to be pretty low. It's not going to be the greatest hay in the world. Now, of course, if you look down here in the bottom, you know, nice green stuff down here. We got some alfalfa down in here. So, I mean, there's still good hay there. It's just that grass, it takes all of its energy and it puts it into the seed. So then all of the leaves of the grass have less nutrition in them. So definitely probably one of the most mature fields I've cut since I started cutting hay. It has just been a wet spring, and I'm going to be happy to finally have this done, and hopefully we'll be able to get it done. We're going to keep our fingers crossed, but hopefully we can get the hay cut here in the next couple days, and hopefully we have like 4 or 5 days of nice weather to get it all baled. But I think for today, I think that's going to be it for this video. It is Rebecca, I think she's already left work and she's on the way home. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get things cleaned up, get things put away, and call it a night. So keep our fingers crossed for dry weather coming up later this week. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.